Hey, how your mom and dad? Welcome to the Far Reaches podcast. We are four friends from Eastern Oregon who've traveled the world and wound up scattered across the U.S. Join us as we get together to talk about current events, old events, agriculture, politics, movies, books, stocks, love, and even a little bit of life. No, we don't always agree, but we stay friends and even enjoy a few laughs. We think you will too, so come on along and enjoy the ride. And don't forget, keep on reaching. Hey, don't forget to stop by our special friends at B&K Auto Salvage who help bring this podcast to you each and every week. Folks, with over 1,200 used vehicles in stock and a large selection of 4x4 parts available, that's always being updated. B&K Auto Salvage is your Eastern Oregon one-stop shopping for the automotive world. And be sure to listen very close every week for the Far Reaches promo code that's going to get you discounted pricing and bumps on those prices on that scrap. So that's our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage. Make sure you told them the Reacher sent you and listen every week for the promo code to get extra savings. Hey, hi, mom, and then welcome to the Reaches podcast. That one is being recorded, unlike the last episode we only did on Facebook Live, because yours truly, which is French for me, forgot to hit the record button because we're all so excited to talk to each other and pretty much our last podcast of the year. So got a lot of reacher mail past couple of weeks like, dude, when's the podcast coming up? And I'm like, yeah. So I didn't hit record. So oops. So one of my main things this week, make sure we hit record. So welcome to the first podcast for January 20 Deuce. Mr. Joel, how the hell are you, brother?
Howdy, Micah. Doing pretty well.
Good day.
Just same old. I just went to the wine store, got some supplies. Ran into that guy that I think I told about last time that Jess saw him, and his car broke down in Pendleton, and spent 10 days there.
Yeah.
And he told me he was like, yeah, I went to the Rainbow, and got to talking to some guys. He said they're MetaVerse, and then they invited him out to the res.
Oh, cool.
So and he was like, yeah, we went out there that night and partied with them, stayed out there at their house.
Culture, little sweat lodge time, right?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, how about
that's
that?
Pretty, that's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 10 days in Pendleton, I think so. Richard, can you hear us? Brad Bird.
What up? How's it going?
Oh, good, Home Skillet. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Say again?
Good. Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. We just started early. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I hit record so we capture this magic. So here we are. I do what I can. You know what I'm saying? So let me get the intro real quick too. I want to make sure we thank our sponsors who are back for this year too. B&K Auto Salvage. I can't think of a better partnership than Far Reaches and B&K Auto Salvage. Bo, gang, everybody, thank you again for your continued support. Make sure, folks, if you're out there shopping, looking for used parts, new parts, stop there first and check it out. Remember, promo code LGB. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. That's promo code right now for Reachers. That's going to get you a discount when you're buying something. And if you have Bo and the gang coming out to pick up some scrap and mention that promo code, he's actually going to pay you more for the scrap than he would everybody else. Just say, hey, I listened to the Far Reaches podcast. I know the promo code, and here it is. You're going to get the down low price increase. So thank you to our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage there in the scenic, beautiful Grand Ronde and Baker City Valleys. Reach out to them for all your scrap needs. And before you check anywhere else, go there. They might just have it. So I wanted to make sure we get them shout out proper, and proud to have them back on board for this year as well. Extremely good partner and just fun to work with, and we're proud to be associated. And I think they're the same. They like being part of the Reaches. So thanks, guys. All right, now we can go back to our ramblings after we make sure we take care of all of our business. So, Richard, you went on mute. Where'd you go, son? God damn, Bradbury. It's like playing cards with my brother's kids or something. Yeah. Anyways, Joel, you got some wine. I got a person I need to get you in touch with too. She works in a winery, and they got a great wine club. I think you'd like it. So I'm gonna connect you to one of these. Yeah.
You live in New York, or just
She lives in
you just
Walla
say
Walla.
that because I drink a lot of wine.
Well, you don't necessarily have to drink a lot of wine to enjoy a wine club, but it's out of the Walla Walla. You know, the town's so nice they named it twice. and get a nice selection. It's a good way to go. So you might check it out. I'll get you guys in touch and you can go from there. No pressure. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, she's a good friend. Went to college together, and she works at the winery. So it's kind of good to support the whole circle. Yeah. Tonight it's a little bullet bourbon and apple cider. It's like a nice fall wintry drink. Cheers. It's worth trying. Yeah. Over Christmas break, I had some take a little apple cider, a little eggnog, and a little bourbon. Nice wintry evening. Of course, during Christmas break, it was a morning drink as well. So yeah.
What'd you do for Christmas?
I worked around the house for a few days. I had some work to do. Our office was closed from Christmas Eve through the 3rd, and I had some end of year work.
Why is my hand up?
I don't know. I just noticed that. Yeah. I guess you're asking a question. You don't have to like raise your hand to ask a question, Joel. It's okay. Yeah.
Just gonna leave it. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Full on high five. I just noticed that. That's too funny. Lower hand.
Sorry.
Here, I'll put it down. How's that? I'll
you
help you. Yeah. So I had some work to do for end of year stuff. So I worked a couple days and then went and hung out at my dad's. Now Richard's got his hand up. Richard, what do you want? For a couple days, did some projects.
Well, you remodeled.
What's that?
You remodeled.
Me?
You're an evil.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I switched it around on you.
Now, how do you like that new setup?
I like it very much, actually, because I took one of the huge tables out of my office. I have a bunch of room over here now again, and simplified. So that was one of my
room for activities.
Activity. I do activities right over here. You can't see them, but there's an activity space right here. Yeah. So I got a partially built bunk bed, and yeah. So Richard, a lower half built. Yeah.
I was like, maybe Micah's still, maybe he's in Texarkana. And I looked at the room and I was like, nope, he's back in Florida, but the room's all different. So
I'm in the Rita. It's all for you. You have to guess where the pillows are, and we'll go from there. So not to point it out, but it was the same background last time we had podcast. So yeah, I know you're busy. He was occupied. It was right before Christmas, all that. So yeah, we've changed it all around. Still got the TV in the corner so I could be distracted. I was watching the John Madden, all Madden documentary just before, kind of getting a little misty eyed before we went on the air. So it's okay. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Richard, do you want to kick off our weekly reach around? Do you think you want to step out there on that ledge and lead the way?
Wasn't you doing the reach around?
Not really. I was just bantering while you were off mute and lowering your hand. Yeah. So.
Oh,
I always kind of do
coordinating cow movement.
You were what?
I was coordinating cow movements with feeding times.
Outstanding. Is there a high correlation?
This time of year, yes.
Excellent.
Movements
with
is like when they shit?
No, not those kind of movements. Sorry. No.
I have to have a movement.
No, one of our neighbors has to move some of his cows through our field, so he wants to make sure we feed on the opposite side of the field. So, and the fences in Adel are legendarily low maintenance.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he's gonna move some cows. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So why's your hand back up?
I don't know.
Are you doing that?
No.
It's like randomly throwing up a hand. That's too funny.
Unless like my book is touching it.
Kinky. That's what she said. Anyway, sorry, Richard. You're working with a neighbor to get some cows moved. Hopefully you don't have any Charlie Foxtrots.
Yep. So yeah, no, we had a great Christmas and New Year's. Just stayed here at the house, the home, and fed.
Oh, nice.
The end of the year for real estate was bonkers, and things are coming back to normal and sort of slow, which I greatly appreciate because I thought I was going to lose my mind at the end of the year. What else?
What was leading to some of the end of year chaos? I'm curious because I was dealing with the same thing at work. I'm just curious what yours looked like. If you can talk about it.
I have a big deal that started in December, mid-December, and I had 2 deals that I started in September that both closed miraculously before the end of the year.
Oh, outstanding.
But I had 2 other houses that weren't so long-term or so difficult, but banking is getting really difficult. So yeah, that's Joel's fault.
Yeah, bastard.
But
I think it was
yeah, I think
last time you talked about your bankers, you were yelling at your banker.
Yeah,
weren't you?
yep.
still is.
So, anyways,
Maybe they,
yeah,
excluded you.
yeah. Anyways,
That
so
would be the wrath of Brad. Well, glad your year finished strong at least, and it's off to a less chaotic start.
oh yeah, it's nice to catch your breath a little bit. We restructured the ranch operations quite a bit, and those are all sort of getting streamlined and starting to work, and some new people taking over some new responsibilities and some new partnerships. And
Excellent.
because once you get out of one partnership, you got to get into 2 more. So
That's what she said. Yeah.
So, but let's see. Richard had a great Christmas. It's just pretty mundane.
Well, sometimes the status quo is good enough. Not always, but sometimes. Yeah.
I guess the one exception to this holiday season was in the last week, we've got an insane amount of snow, which is greatly needed. So that's exciting.
That seems to be a theme throughout much of the U.S.
Yeah.
Like anything north of I don't know, the 40th parallel seems to be hammered.
Yep. So,
which is cool.
Yeah,
We need it.
Nothing to blow your socks off, just a regular life.
Just a good old fashioned family holiday Christmas. Congratulations.
Yep.
Beautiful. Mr. Joel.
We
Please
didn't
reach
have
around.
we haven't had any snow.
That's too bad.
Keeps missing here.
All the hot air coming out of that county must be blowing it away.
My reach around. I've just been doing a lot of sports betting.
Awesome.
So our Christmas plans got ruined because I caught the coronavirus again.
Way to go.
So I had to stay home. Yeah. So just stayed here, had Christmas here, opened some presents, drank, played cards, put together a puzzle. And then, I've been having a lot of luck on sports betting this month.
I'd say skill, but you can say luck.
Yeah, maybe. So I think I've won back everything I've lost plus some. So that's good. Last game of the night or the month that I'm betting on is tonight. So I got LSU versus Kansas State, and I took Kansas State -6.5.
I think that's fair. LSU, is coach even there? Is Ogeron coaching this one?
No, he's been gone for a few weeks.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he left a while ago. Is that on right now?
It's not. It's on. If you have the time to place your bet, you should do it. The thing with it is that LSU is missing.
Everybody.
I think their top 2 quarterbacks. They only have one starter on defense playing. They just have a whole bunch of opt-outs.
Yeah.
And they weren't that good to begin with.
Yeah, I know they struggled this year a lot, and especially at the quarterback position. So to have their top ones gone, I think 6.5 is pretty generous. So
so I put $250 on that for tonight. So
Joel, I'd like to extend my football knowledge services to you.
Oh yes, you are speaking to a league champion.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Bradbury. Second place for me 2 years in a row. Damn it!
Can you imagine? I keep thinking about how many people out there lost their championship game because of Antonio Brown running off the field, stripping and running.
I think Micah
what a fucking hell of a way to lose it.
I don't think it helped anybody.
You kidding?
Yeah, it didn't help anybody. Yeah.
The guy quit in spectacular fashion. Never seen anything like it. It cost you your league championship.
It's memorable. Yes. It's a tip of the hat to everybody else of welcome to the NFL 2021. Well, congratulations, Richard. Well fought.
Yeah, congrats. That's great.
So Richard and I were in the finals, and he bested me. I had one of the most spectacular shitty weeks of all the season. So it's good timing on my part, but Richard played well, and congratulations to him. And I'm very happy again with second place.
I would like to say that I was checked in for most of the year as far as the fantasy football and completely forgot about it the last 2 weeks. So I was as surprised as you that I'd won.
That makes it even better. Yes. Yeah. It's funny too, because a couple weeks ago I was talking to McDave. I'm like, dude, we should like all put in $100 or something for the beginning of the season. He's like, oh yeah, you'd say that because you're going to be the championship. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be the championship. And then it turns out, total blind luck made it in the championship. But I still think we should all put money in. So it's the White House League. We were all collegiate roommates at one time. So we have a pretty strong league, mostly for the shit talking, I would say. But there's the pride. There's the pride.
Yeah, Trevor won the Greater Eastern Oregon League again. I think he might have, this might be his second year in a row that he's won.
Wow. I won 2 years ago, and I've been second place the last 2 years. So yeah, on this league. My other league, I've been with some other friends from Wisconsin. Not so much this year. It was extra craptacular. Yeah, but it's fun.
On our thread, I threw out the idea. I wonder how it worked really. Because the 32 NFL teams. What if you had a 32 team fantasy league?
It would be thin. Yeah,
that'd be great. That'd be fun.
Thin.
I don't know 31 people though.
We could probably drag some up. It'd be sketchy. It'd get thin. Yeah, but I'm in a dude. You should get in that golf league again with me in Texas. There's like 40 or 50 of us in that.
When does that start?
Right now, this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll join it.
Yeah, it's fun. Like you pick one golfer every week for each tournament. You can only use them once.
So the beginning of the golf season starting this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get you the invite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing I can gamble on now that football's ended.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we put in, I think it's $50 a head. Yeah, I got second place last year and first place the year before in that. And it's pretty fun. Yeah. The Texas people don't like me, but it's okay. I'm used to it. So, but yeah, you can only pick one golfer for picking once. And then you got to use somebody else next week. So little strategery. I will, Richard, do you want to play in that too? Richard, put your hand up. You're on mute or something.
Oh, I'm probably good.
Okay.
I felt good. I felt that I really exerted a lot of effort to stay checked in for the fantasy football league. So I think I need to rest.
I got you. I respect that too. It's okay. Anything else for your reach around, Mr. Joel?
My buddy Anthony's in town. So
cool.
That's cool. Hung out with him a couple times. It's good to have somebody around to hang out with.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, partner in crime, so to speak. Yeah. Did he miss New York?
No.
I didn't think so. That's awesome.
It's crazy here, man. Like I was wondering, I don't want to get into like COVID much, but
we're going to, bitch.
Like when I left Pendleton, you kind of like forgot that it was really a thing out there. Then you get here and everyone is doubling down on it.
You don't want to get a cold
everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's in other parts of the country. Is it truly still being ignored mostly for the most part?
Yeah, like ask AOC. She was down here partying. Like, dude, it doesn't even cross my mind at all. Like the poor old ratty tatty sign on the door to work was like masks are expected. Like fucking maybe like 3 people in the building wear a mask. Maybe. I don't care if they do. I don't really give a shit. But like anywhere else, like sometimes you see people walking around with a mask. Like yesterday, I saw a rather large woman with a mask outside and a big, huge bag of McDonald's. So I was like, anyways, so I don't know. Some people do, but 99% of people, no. Just
that's weird. It's
rage on, man.
It's weird how people here are just living with it.
They're not
on such a day-to-day basis.
They're not living with it. They're just like suffering through it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to California at the end of the week for some meetings, and it's just been a true test of my patience and desire to have a job. For all the shit we have to go through, like got to wear masks, and it's just like insane. Got to get tested when you get there, or have it within 72 hours, and just all this crap. Like,
you're not gonna be able to go into any businesses, are you? Any like restaurants or bars?
I've got reservations. Not like I'm not worried about I have like reservations for dinner. Like, you probably have to wear a bubble or something, or go through a steam cleaner.
I don't know. In California, do they require a vaccine passport?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah.
Maybe not in San Diego. I don't know.
That is, it's the whole Spanish influence of the whale vagina there that really keeps them sane. So
Chaco and Rogan said that San Diego was a little bit more easygoing.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah. Hopefully
that's
so.
That's what I learned in Napa. I walked into a restaurant with no mask, no vaccine passport, nothing, and there was no problem whatsoever.
Cool.
And I went straight to the bar and ordered a tequila, and the bartender didn't even give me a sideways look. Of course, I am 280 pounds, and I was wearing a huge cowboy hat, so
it does sort of plow a path, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I had a damn fine tie on too. I think it was a power tie. So it said, "Don't fuck with me." Yeah.
The power tie brings it all. I've learned that a long time ago. The power tie brings it all together. Yeah. That was one of my mental tricks when I take tests back in college. Was you wore a tie. Like I'd snazz it up a little bit. Yeah. Look sharp, be sharp. Try it, Joel. Yeah. Try it. Wearing your tracksuit to work every day. Yeah.
Ties are on style, I think.
I like ties. I used to have tie day Friday, man. That was like for years. Yeah. It angered a lot. I
used to wear ties all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't worn a tie in years.
I do have the top collar tonight. Yeah. So
I was very excited to find out that Paisley was a trend again.
Yeah. They got some of my older ties. I have some modern Paisley ties too, but yeah. Some of them look like I found them in the back of a van, which is almost perfect. Yeah.
Joel, do you even go into the office anymore?
No.
Is there even an office to go to?
We have an office, but it's you have to go online and sign up and reserve a desk. And I'm not real sure how to do that, but
they don't
have you. Kind of pointless, because if you go in, you're not going to be you don't know where other people on your team are going to be. So I'm just going to be sitting next to random people.
Hey, great way to meet folks. Yeah. Why not?
So this is just random. Can we go on a tangent here for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I know
that's what the Reaches is all about, man. That's really what it's all about.
I know we're right in the middle of Joel's reach around, and I'm not trying to steal it, but so I listened to Joe Rogan and Brian Redband today.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about the metaverse. And he has this whole online metaverse community and sort of relationship circle that he's part of. And I guess
about that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, when you said that, we wouldn't even know where everybody on my team is. I wonder if big corporations will start using a metaverse setting to replace traditional meetings, or have metaverse type office spaces where team members can you still be in your own house, but you could go back and forth. And I read a really great book. It sort of started dawning on me how it all works. And I'd read a great book called what is it? The Bobaverse? What was it? Oh, We Are Legion. And it's a 4-part book. We Are Legion.
We Are Legion?
Yeah. It's about a Van Norman machine that gets a guy a tech entrepreneur gets killed in Vegas by a car. They managed to get his memories off his brain, and they put him in a Van Norman probe and launch him into space. And his name's Bob, and he creates this.
Bob, yeah.
Yeah. anyways, it's a really great science fiction series, but it really plays into the metaverse because he duplicates himself over and over again, and they have a metaverse where they all communicate. So, and each metaverse is tailored to
Wow.
yeah. But after listening to this Red Band thing and then hearing like Joel has to schedule to go in the office and he wouldn't know where everybody's at, I'm really sorry to take, not that I don't think I'm ever going to really participate in the metaverse. I think I might be too old and too set in my ways, but I wonder how much it's going to change corporate America. I wonder, like, we think that the metaverse is purely recreational, but I can really see applications where it's not going to be.
Well, Facebook is already doing that. So Facebook owns Oculus. So you can access metaverse through Oculus, and you can like be in a room, air quotes, with other people, and you can like look around and see their avatar. And you can. It's kind of funny the demonstration that I saw Zuckerberg doing was like they created a fake like boardroom. It's like, if you're having a meeting, why are you? You can be anywhere. Why are you doing a fucking boardroom?
You got to set the tone, man. You can't be like in the beach in your freaking shorts. Like we're in a goddamn boardroom. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty neat. And if you get a chance, I don't know if maybe we already talked about it, and I'm not sure. But Tim Dillon was on Rogan recently too. That was an excellent episode. But they get into that a little bit. Like people are buying land in the metaverse for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And who knows, it could very likely turn out to be a complete waste of money. Same with like NFTs, right? But maybe not. Maybe in the metaverse, if you get in early and basically owning a piece of Manhattan, right?
Does that not like just scream like we are headed toward the Matrix, like at an abundant rate?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Imagine like wearing the big Oculus machine, but then you have to wear a mask so you can't see any of your face. You're just
because like
sitting in
all
room.
this is like like you don't have to go anywhere to be anywhere. Like you're just going to be in your little pod. Like think about this natural progression. You're in your room, you got this on. Next thing you know, you're just hooked up to a machine, so you don't have to even get up and go shit or do anything else. You're like, because you're in the metaverse with your little goggles on, and you're doing this and that. And it's all virtual. And then like the very next stage is basically the Matrix.
I think the application for it would be really neat. And I had a buddy that years ago he was exploring this. Now it sounds like it's actually, I don't know if he's still involved with it, but he had started a business with a buddy to do it. But so imagine like the little bit of shopping that you probably do for clothes, you'd probably just go on the internet and buy the clothes you want, right?
Usually, yeah.
So one of the uses of it is if you go into the metaverse, you can go shopping. You can actually like pick up the object and really take a look at it before purchasing it, right? That'd be pretty neat, I think. Instead of, I don't want to go into a store to go shopping, and it'd be better than doing it on the internet.
There's some people
that
that
you
need,
pay
but
in
mostly
Bitcoin.
not. Yeah.
Or Dogecoin or whatever.
Yeah. I think Richard's on to something really interesting about business, though, where you have like these, for lack of a better term, it's just like a virtual space where you're at, and everybody can be there at the same time, so to speak.
You'd be in a shopping mall, and people of different businesses have purchased a storefront in the metaverse shopping mall.
Would it be an infinite supply of quote unquote storefront though? Like why would it have any value whatsoever?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the Bobaverse series is each Van Norman copy creates their own. It's sort of like that multiplicity theory, a copy of a copy of a copy. So they call it drift, and it's not so much that the copy is inferior, but it drifts away from the original.
Yeah.
And so they're these giant spaceships hurtling through the universe, and they have these like Wi-Fi spots so that they can transmit over light years. Anyways, they have a central place that they call a moot, where they all can gather, but mostly they all have their own little metaverse spaces. And then like throughout the series, the different Bobs will get together and meet in each other's unique spaces. So it's not any traditional structure like we think. I think that if you overlay the idea over a vast universe, it looks a lot different than when it's in the confines of our earthly dwellings and our earthly perspective of things.
Certainly. There's a lot to explore there. Yeah, it's pretty deep, pretty early for the reachers.
Yeah, I don't know if there could be unlimited space. I'm sure there's. I don't understand it incredibly well, but think about it as like, I guess you'd be verified on. I think it has to do with blockchain, right? So you'd have a space on the. You have a space
Probably.
on the blockchain, which isn't free because the blockchain exists outside of the metaverse. So you have to purchase whatever that costs to purchase it, to set it up. But I don't know. It'd be a whole community. You'd have.
Yeah, but you can like, I'm gonna kick it old school here. You can like tesseract between shit instantaneously. So like even in the shitty neighborhood, you can get there instantly.
It's a shitty neighborhood in the metaverse.
Well, yeah, there is. Obviously,
You
there
gotta
is.
get
Dude.
out of
There
here.
has to
It's
be.
dangerous.
There's definitely shitty neighborhoods in the metaverse.
There's already people like complaining that one girl was complaining that her avatar got groped in the metaverse.
I don't mean to laugh at that. I just laugh at the concept of like she walks by a construction site in the metaverse, like, "Yo, get that over! Yeah, back that shit up! Special delivery."
Just guys working in construction in the metaverse.
Apparently, you got to make the storefront. Like that's why I'm paying for all this freaking money. I mean, like, I don't know, like how like does it just happen overnight? Like, does it show up the next day? Like, how does that work, man? Like,
yeah,
I'm
as far
money,
as consciousness,
crazy, man.
Combine it with Elon Musk's plan to insert chips into our brains.
Like I said,
you can instantaneously know anything.
Matrix, man, it's right there. It's a freaking documentary. Yeah,
Idiocracy
and the Matrix are turning into documentaries.
You'd be a pretty brave person to do like the first generation of that brain chip.
The 1G, yeah. I'm in. I'm in.
I'll wait until they improve it a little bit.
What the hell? I'm going to first gen, man. First gen. Sign me up. I don't care.
So you want to hear something more trippy? So Neil Stephenson, that
I didn't say yes, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, just kidding.
He wrote a book called Cryptonomicon back in the 90s. And it is pretty much the blueprints of cryptocurrency now and blockchain. In 2019, he wrote a book called Dodge or Fall from Hell, where he also dies, also a tech billionaire, dies, has his memory uploaded into the cloud, into MetaVerse. Actually, in Dodge Fall from Heaven or Hell, he actually creates his own metaverse from like nothing. That's how adept a programmer he is. What happens in the real world is as the metaverse grows, we run out of power to run all the computing power that the metaverse needs. Mm-hmm. And as dead people keep uploading into the metaverse, it takes more and more power, and then less people procreate. And so really everybody's role in that's alive is to cultivate these afterlives for their loved ones and produce the power and computing power and feed that with the like natural resource energy that it takes. So I think one of the cool limitations about the metaverse that most people haven't thought of is the raw power that it takes to actually generate the power that it takes to run the ones and zeros to create these magnificent fantasy worlds that we all foresee are going to happen in the future.
When did he write that book?
I think it was 2019.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
so one of the, I mean, I don't really understand it fully, but of course, but one of the beautiful things about Bitcoin as a currency is, so the mining that takes place, one of the main criticisms of crypto or Bitcoin specifically is all the energy it takes to mine it. Takes an incredible amount of energy. So it's like, they'll just claim that it pollutes a lot. So
What I'm sorry, I'm completely lost here. Mining Bitcoin. What do you mean by that?
So when you conduct a transaction on Bitcoin, your transaction goes into, and this is how I understand it. I don't know if anybody's listening that is going to be like, this guy's an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. But
we've been the first time I said that out of any of us, but don't let that stop.
If you do a transaction on Bitcoin, it goes into a block. As soon as that, I don't know if it's as soon as there's enough transactions for the block to be mined to process it.
That's one whole Bitcoin instead of, because we all buy like partials usually. Is that what you're saying? When you say it's a block,
it doesn't matter how big the transaction is. So there'd be a reward if you are a miner. So some of these mining operations, some of them are publicly traded now. Like there's one company.
But when they're mining, what are they doing? Like they buying it for $1 billion to the cent, selling it for $1 billion plus one.
So you basically have a whole bunch of computers running algorithms to process the transactions, and so these blocks come in, and it's about I think you need to put together, like, let's just say for the sake of discussion, I think it's like 20 unique numbers. So the computers have to run all these numbers until they get a match. So you just need an enormous amount of computing power to do it quickly in order to get the reward, which comes in Bitcoin. You get free Bitcoin if you mine the block. So let's say 10 transactions, which isn't true, there's more than 10, but 10 transactions are in a block, and it comes through these computers, and you mine it. All the computers are running their algorithms, and they match up all the numbers to say this is a legit transaction, process it basically instantaneously. You get a reward for that. So every block has, I think, 6 Bitcoin in it right now. So when I talk about the halvening, so in like 3 years from now or 4 years from now, every block will only have 3 Bitcoin. And then 4 years from then,
gotcha. Yeah, 1.5 or 1 or 2.
Yeah. And it goes down, and then so I think hundreds of years from now there will be no more rewards, so then something else has to be figured out on. So anyway, it takes a lot of power for these computers to run to mine it, and if energy is expensive, then
takes away from your reward.
It's not if it's too expensive, that is it worth doing?
Yeah.
So it creates an incentive, a financial incentive for somebody to come up with cheap sources of power. So there are some companies, one company that just IPO'd not too long ago, I think over the summer. They're buying up like abandoned power plants, and they try to do it as clean as possible. But right now it's still pretty dirty, right? But they're just taking cheap fuel and processing it through their mill to create power to run the computers.
The other thing that people forget about is the tremendous amount of water it takes to keep a server farm going.
Yeah.
So in Dodge Fall from Hell, they built the server farms next to major rivers. So like
which is what Google does in Hood River, right? Or the Dalles.
Yeah.
Yep. And in Redmond, and yeah. So all of a sudden these like the Missouri River in South Dakota and North Dakota, it all becomes like this prime real estate, because especially if it's like North Dakota would become a hot spot because of the natural gas and the river. So, but really, sorry, Joel, I didn't want to, I'll let you finish your thought, but Joel's right on. There's a limited amount of Bitcoin, and
that is limited. Yeah.
So And they are. I thought that all the Bitcoin was going to be mined within the next 20 or 30 years, but it could be longer.
Yeah, it's longer than that. Yeah, the last part of that is, so what it does is it creates an incentive. If you're trying to make money off of mining Bitcoin, it creates an incentive to create cheap energy, more efficient energy, which ultimately is great for the environment. If your currency is sparking innovation.
Well, it depends on what your feelings on what kind of cheap energy.
Well, there would be incentive to create something cheap and efficient and preferably not dirty. And I don't think it would be dirty. Nothing, you can't produce that with fossil fuels, I don't think. So I think ultimately,
wow, such an interesting mix of virtual and real worlds. Like real world issues are having impact in what I consider like the virtual space.
I think it's going to be more flip flop. The burden that the virtual space is going to create going into the future is going to draw more real world resources than we can even imagine. And that's after we feed, clothe, and house ourselves.
Yeah, but that's going to be, if you look at the natural continuation of where we're going as far as isolation, home-based, virtual, like some of those are going to be reduced to a large degree. Like we're just going to be like one gray tracksuit that everybody wears because you don't care, because nobody sees you in person. Like you don't even see people in your own home in reality. So, there's a huge cut down.
I think ultimately, the energy issue will be a non-issue. I think the innovation
is going to come save us all.
The innovation that's going to come out is going to save everything.
You guys keep talking. I need to go refresh my beverage, but I'll be right back. So don't stop. Just
okay.
Here's a topic. Rhode Island. See the road.
No dead air.
Rhode Island. So yeah, I trust you.
Yeah, I was thinking on top of that, what I think when it comes to the price of Bitcoin and other cryptos is that I feel like hedge funds are falling out of favor, and there's been a lot of articles lately at the end of the year when you take a look at the returns that hedge funds were able to generate. I think let's say 90% of them underperform the S&P 500. So if you're rich, why the hell are you going to invest your money in the hedge fund when you can do it yourself? So I think there's going to be a lot of capital out there and a lot of investors looking for the next thing. And the next thing is obviously like cryptocurrency.
I think that what you said is true. If you would have invested in indexes in 19, 20, and 21, you would have outperformed most of the hedge funds.
Yeah. Warren Buffett famously made like $1 million bet or something with a hedge fund guy, that he could, an index fund would outperform his hedge fund, and it did for the year, and so Warren Buffett won that.
I think that hedge funds are getting sort of a black eye. I mean, I don't think Jared Diamond's the savior that everybody thinks he is. I think he might be having,
Who?
The CEO of BlackRock. I think they're going to be.
I don't know his name.
Jared Diamond.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway,
what did he say?
Well, he has all this environmental stuff, but they do a lot of nasty stuff in the background and with different companies and that kind of stuff. So they're behind a lot of. He's sort of the antipode of Elon Musk, who's pretty transparent with everything he's doing and has, what would you say? I think overall Elon Musk's intentions for his enterprises are profit driven, but sort of erudite or forward thinking. But
he has all his patents are open source, aren't they?
Yeah, And then you look at BlackRock and their practices, incredibly secretive. They preach one thing and do something opposite, but they might put it in a different silo, a different company, and pretend like they're not doing it. And like one of the big secrets of BlackRock is they're buying up houses and raising rents all across the country. So that's why it's good capitalist behavior. It's not necessarily really pro-human in any way.
Right.
So, but the good news is, like you said, they're not performing very well as a investment tool.
Well, BlackRock certainly is. I think, yeah, they're doing real well.
But I mean,
like you said, they're unstoppable.
See, that's
no one's unstoppable.
Rockefeller regulation.
Rockefeller got stopped. Vanderbilt got stopped. Carnegie got stopped. Who was before? Who was
Henry Ford? Like everybody gets stopped eventually. Like
I'm pretty sure eventually Bezos and probably even Musk and Gates are all going to get slapped down. Gates already has an antitrust suit. He's already lost an antitrust suit. So
it's interesting. So the one safe investment has to be land, right? That's what they would say.
Always.
BlackRock is buying
and
up
water,
land
and water, man.
Yeah,
water especially, man.
But then that'd be interesting. Is the next innovation is like land stops mattering to a certain extent because everyone's in a metaverse.
We've already found out though that metaverse land is scarce and expensive, also, even though it should be infinitely available.
Yeah,
and you're gonna have shitty neighborhoods there. So it's I equate this almost to like this is one of my long ago epiphanies, but it's like
I think the concept of a ghetto in the metaverse is
totally is, dude. Like life is a continuous cycle of rising to the top only to start over again. You think about I started thinking about this in school. Like you had like your kindergarten through fourth grade or third grade school building or whatever, you know. So like when you start off, you're at the bottom of the pile. Then you hit third or fourth grade, you're like, yeah, king of the school. Guess what? You go to the next level up, you are the lowest piece of shite that there is. You make it up through eighth grade, you're like, yeah, I'm a badass eighth grader. No, next year you're a punk ass freshman. Like life is really that continuous cycle of like, I'm at the top. You're starting back at the bottom. Like it's just a continual flow on many different levels. That's been my epiphany since like about sixth grade. Yeah.
So my final question about this whole conversation is what happens to those of us that decide to opt out and not participate in the metaverse?
We go enjoy and do whatever the hell we want.
Well, so Mark Zuckerberg himself is responsible for creating a big portion of this, right? He's at the forefront of it. And he's buying up all the land in Hawaii. So I think
you people go live in your pod somewhere in your little fanny world, and I'll go live in the real world, quote unquote, whatever's real. Like we assume the world outside's real, but we don't know. But yeah, that's the experience that I want. So
I think
the thing is, we'll all be fine. I think
no. Here's my theory. I think it's going to be like the vaccination. I think they're going to move more and more things that you need to do to participate in life onto the metaverse. So as you don't participate in it, you're going to become more and more at risk as a like living, breathing human. So I think the plan would be unless something drastically changes in our culture, the requirement to have a meaningful, how would you say it? Your
existence,
income, ability to generate income is going to be tied to your presence in the metaverse. So I think that unless you have a lot of resources, it's going to be really difficult to opt out of the metaverse in like 10 or 15 years. And that's going to be a real problem because if you think the phones are addictive, just think how addictive the metaverse is going to be. Yeah. And it's more and more of and I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but it makes it very easy to control populations if you have them. It's like a prison that you're not even in a prison.
You don't even realize you're volunteering for this captivity, man. It's like But don't you think at the same time, though, that those crazy of us who would rather just go out and wander around the wilderness, there'll be nobody there to bother you because they're all home in their pod?
I
Like,
think it's going to be frowned upon, and it's going to be considered extra legal behavior. And I'm just interested.
Who's going to come
see
regulate you when everybody's in their own little pod metaverse thing? Like, they'd have to be outside, wandering around outside the matrix to come worry about me.
What if they tie your ability to get food and to get health care and to get all these things to your job?
The only part I'd be worried about would be healthcare. Because, like, honestly, like, we could go live in a commune somewhere in Northeast or Southeast Oregon, not worry about food per se. Job doesn't really matter because we don't need anything from the quote unquote other world. But I guess we just have to find our own nurses and stuff, or doctors that didn't believe in the metaverse also. Like, it sounds weird to think about, but it's like, you guys go, like, they're like in their own prison and we're running around outside of it. And I guess maybe we'd both be happy. I don't know.
I think
Yes,
prosperity in this case is actually our ability to create this great utopia in digital world is going to actually lead to this huge dystopia. Like you said, it's the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, think about 2 generations or so into this metaverse. Like, all it takes is basically one generation who's born and raised within it to, like, think about the stories and the things that you could make up about outside of that. Like, if somebody's born into this system and they're all you are is you're just wearing your headset and you're in your little room or your little pod, as I like to call it, you don't ever want to go outside. You can't leave the pod because it's awful and it's evil and it's poisonous and it's whatever. If you think about a generation that's born into that and has no reason to believe anything else, they're never going to open the door, dude. They don't even want to know what's outside. That's us mutants out here wandering around, like, shooting elk and growing corn and having a good time. But they're perfectly happy to be within their
I think
own little realm.
Eventually you're not going to be allowed to be out there.
Yeah, but who is going to say
Stuff.
that? Like,
well, there'd still be like authorities, like
they don't want to be outside of the metaverse. They want to be in their own little mystery world. They don't care about us morons. Like, seriously, like, you're going to take off your headset to go deal with me, or just let me go rot and die and go crazy out there somewhere?
Well, it'd be laws like you can't do that because that's bad for the environment. So we're overly.
Come get me. Like, you're going to take your headset off and come get me?
They will come get you.
Okay. Enjoy. Yeah, like,
kill you. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll have to find people to volunteer to be the enforcement and not get a chance to go enjoy the utopia that is the metaverse.
I just think
it's basically the plot of the Matrix, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it's really coincidental that we have this huge push to get every living Homo sapien vaccinated. What if that's not what it's really about? What if it's just a trial run to see how we're going to get everybody inoculated to live online?
Yeah, stay at home. Virtual meetings, virtual world.
Yep. Maybe this was just a trial run to see how you can force a civilization to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, and some of them are still continuing with it. Like, I think like Ontario is right now in a lockdown.
Yeah, I got an email from a customer in Canada today. Lockdown.
And they have no recourse. I don't even know if we have recourse that they do. I know we still have First Amendment and Second.
Depends on how far you want to take your recourse, but yeah. But if Canada and Australia don't scare the bejesus out of you, especially Australia,
it is crazy though how many people are just on board and will defend some of these things in light, even in the presence of evidence of what they're doing is ridiculous. So like the people who want open schools in New York, you get on any thread about it on Twitter, it's like you got a lot of people being like, well, children are going to die. Jesus Christ. They need to be wearing masks. Like they're starting to admit that, like I've seen on CNN twice. I've seen some other people finally admit, like, well, you really need to upgrade to N95s if you really want to protect yourself, because they like that crazy lady on CNN. She
That doesn't
admitted
narrow it
it's
down
just
much.
facial decorations.
Yeah, it's a way to
It,
identify who wants to comply.
4 months ago, you get kicked off of Twitter for saying something like that. If you're
Every day it's
famous.
getting more and more like, because God, I can't believe we're going down this
But
road.
there are still people who are going to defend the masks, even though, even if Fauci came out and said, "Yeah, they don't do anything, guys," people would still be like, I think they do a little bit. You guys have to
hey,
keep
guess
wearing
here's
them.
the whole ultimate overall mega point. Like, if you think they do, congratulations, wear it to your heart's content, but don't expect me to play along. Like,
No, that doesn't work with these people,
That's
because
the problem.
you need to wear it. You need to wear it to protect me.
Yeah, see,
so
that's
they'll
the problem.
never accept that.
I've never bought that. It doesn't make any sense to my mind. Like, seriously,
My point
does
is,
not
that
compute.
it's amazing how easily this
It's so
government has been
sad.
able to brainwash a significant percentage of our population. What 30% might be reasonable?
Probably hard to ultimately calculate, but enough to make it so we talk about it. Yeah. Not that when I get on a plane on Friday morning, I have to wear a mask.
In New York City hardly. Like, most of the places in New York City, you can't go in without a fucking mask on.
And then, but you sit down when you take, you can take it off when you sit down, because it's a magic table. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've achieved what they set out to achieve. And
God, it just
make
kills my
people do
soul
something.
to think about it, man. That's why I almost.
Yeah, it kills me when people are like, "It's not that big of a deal. Why don't you just put it on? Who cares?" Like, I fucking care.
Exactly.
I don't want to.
I don't want to. So therefore, dude, yeah. Talk about, if you don't think that the term slippery slope was applicable, what was it, 2 years, 3 years now ago? It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and here we are still talking about this lunacy. Can you say slippery slope? Like, you give up one and it goes a mile? Like, no, and it never goes back. It's so hard to go back to what normal was.
Yeah, you can't convince somebody, in some of these people in New York, that you're showing my vaccine card to you every time I walk into your bar, putting a mask on to walk to your table in a restaurant, all these precautions that you're making us do, where Florida is not doing it. And there is, if anything, New York is doing worse.
Precisely.
So what is the point of this? And they're like, we're saving lives. Like, are you?
No.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. Yeah, like, and then you show them the data. It's like, well, it's not that hard to put on a mask. It's like, oh my, okay, you're lost.
Remotely the point at all. Like, it's not the
completely
solution
lost
to
the
the
plot.
problem, man. Like, it's not the solution to the problem. Remember, I had a really heated discussion with a good friend of mine about this. When the vaccine was first introduced, like, it was the cure-all. Like, if you take this, all is well. Like, it kills this shit, you are fine. Boogity boogity. Next thing you know, it starts getting, and now they're like, no, we never said that. Like, he was like, no, they never said it was a permit. It's just to lower the risk. And I'm like, dude, I literally remember like a year or two ago, like, this is the cure. And I kept saying, like, it can't be the cure. Like, it's a coronavirus. Like, it always.
Well, they never did. To be fair, they never promised 100% effectiveness. I think they said it was like 95% effective.
Okay, yeah, still,
but
like, even like, there's that famous clip now of Matto on CNN. Like, you take this, it stops it, doesn't convey it to other people. You have to get the vaccination because it doesn't kill other people that way. Like,
yeah.
No.
Biden today said it is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and blaming them for spreading it and stuff. Like, that's done, man. Nobody believes. Well, you'd love to say nobody believes that anymore, but yeah, 30%.
Sadly hilarious is what that is. That's sadly hilarious. I'm like, wait a minute. So, and I never could get any of my mind around all this. Like, you're vaccinated, so you're protected, right? Yeah, unless you're not, then I'm not protected. Like, don't understand how that works at all. Like, if you're protected, you're protected. Like, what I do has no impact on you.
they blame they blame the people that don't have the booster, and pretty soon they'll blame people that only have one. But you only have one booster.
Yeah. Well, oh Jesus, so what's wrong with you? Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ, you want kids to die?
Yeah, dick. Yeah, like it's like, wait a minute. It just does not calculate. I'm like, all right, if I'm like in a paint booth or a toxic area, like I put my mask on for me. But if you wear one and I don't, then it's my fault. But if I wear one and you don't, it's your fault. Like it has no interaction on each other. Like if we're both in a toxic environment and we're not wearing our protective gear, what you do has no impact on me. Like, well, I don't have to wear a mask because Joel is. No, that's not how it works. Like we are responsible for our own health. Like it's the same thing here. Like if I wear a mask and you don't, you have no impact on me. If what I'm doing is an effective measure of prevention, i.e. the vaccine or distancing or a mask or whatever, if that's truly effective, like what you do has no impact on me. Like
It's
literally.
It's just going back to the point. So you got to keep, when you dig into like a topic like this, you have to remind yourself that the very people who have brainwashed a large swath of Americans, like AOC herself, goes to fucking Florida and parties without a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And all these people, all these people are responsible for, like you can Kate Brown and Whitmer and all the Northeast politicians. They all are caught violating their own. Gavin Newsom violating his own rules.
Dude, it's classic liberal,
And
like
then
good for thee, but not for me. Like
and then they just
that's rule number one, man.
Say, yeah, I made a bad decision. Sorry. And then people are like, he apologized.
Ruined an entire generation of humans, but he apologized. So okay, yeah. Now, I don't know which way it's going to head. This latest round, I'm like, oh my God, people could get the flu. We've got to get tested to find out if we have it or not. Do you feel sick? Well, no. Then fuck off and go about your way. Like seriously. I don't know. They're going to keep playing their hand, and it's going to keep getting weaker and weaker and weaker. I think. I hope to Christ.
It's indistinguishable from the cold.
Yes. Look at they show the warning signs, and you're like, I'll take some chicken soup and stay home, just like I've done my entire life.
So I just had it again, right? And I had
like, if you honestly, like,
I had
considering all the podcasts I've listened to and all the data I know, if you are, then you're the first person to have it twice. Either you had a false positive the first time, or you're the first person to have 2 Ronas.
I did, yeah. I think a lot of people had it twice, even though
Omicron,
I don't know, like
Omicron's presenting it is enough different than the variants that they're finding that it can be 2.
So you could have 2 positives, but one would be the Omicron. Cold.
Yeah. So,
and why are we just taking their word for it that this is the coronavirus?
Dude, I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, how do you instantly know it's a new variant? Cold. Like, how does that happen? Like, instantly overnight, like, oh, there's a new variant. Like, where did it come from? Who knows anything about it? I still think has anybody died from the new variant yet? Anybody even been hospitalized?
Maybe that's what they did. Conspiracy theory time. Maybe they release the previous version.
On this segment of conspiracy theater, Joe speculates. Yeah. What's your postulate, Joel? Yeah.
So if it escaped from a Wuhan lab instead of not released coordinated effort to spread this around the world and do these things that the governments around the world have done and all these rules. And I mean, it's still incredible to me that rules and laws and stuff in this country aren't actually made like I thought they were. Like I thought you had to like make a law to make me put on a mask to go places.
But it's all this emergency authority crap.
Instead, I think Psaki today was like, well, CDC makes those decisions. Like, what? Why?
We're about to we're about to figure out what kind of country we live in, because the Supreme Court's going to rule on the mandate this week. And depending on how they rule, and I'm thinking that the Biden administration is signaling that they know they're going to lose, because
no doubt, dude. They've already stepped back and like This can't be a federal thing. This has to be state, blah, blah, blah. They're seeing the relaxation on some of the concepts, and Fauci's like, it's waning, I think, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's waning because they got to start backpedaling, because if the Supreme Court ruling goes against the mandates, then there's going to be a lot of other stuff that's been called into question. And everybody's still sort of worked up about it, but I mean, really the most important thing that's going to happen, in the whole COVID debate's about to happen, and it's going to happen this week.
Is that the one that involving the Marines?
It's involving, like, they've rolled so many different plaintiffs into this. Like, so far, I think it's 26 total state or more. I think they continually to add on it, and each one of those states has rolled in all the people that are suing the mandate. I listened to this really great YouTube one called Viva La Fry with Barnes, who's a trial one of the most he's one of the best trial lawyers in the United States, and he's up on all this stuff. And like this, what got to the Supreme Court was 26 states and hundreds of thousands of people that are basically that are challenging this mandate, and it's mostly, I think, on First Amendment rights,
right to privacy, right to expression, right to choice, all of them.
Yeah.
So how? I mean, fuck. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed to say I haven't even heard about this. Like, but it's probably not my fault. I'm fairly tuned in. When is this ruling happening, and how are we going to hear about it?
Any day, probably by the 7th at the very least. I mean, there's going to be they're going to have live oral audible arguments. So, it's going to be an interesting thing. And
when you hear about it, if you hear about when it's live oral argument, send it to me. I want to listen.
Yeah, I'm sure it's be midday, but I'll send it to you if I hear about it.
Midday is fine.
Well, I just Googled it, Joel. This is from CNBC. Supreme Court will challenge to Biden mandate. Get all this freaking pop up on my screen. Supreme Court late Wednesday agreed to hear legal challenges to two of Biden administration's COVID-19 vaccine mandates for large employers and healthcare facilities. The Supreme Court said its consideration for requests to stay those mandates will be deferred until oral argument on 7 January.
Okay.
So that was just a quick Google. Even CNBC's talking about it. So
to finish my conspiracy theory is real quick.
Yes.
So they released the bad thing, and then now they've said that's enough. Now release the Omicron, which will crowd out the bad ones.
I think it's a natural. I think the first one was on purpose. I think the subsequent Delta might have been on purpose, but I think the subsequent is just a natural evolution of that virus.
See, my read on it is first one was it was grown on purpose and accidentally escaped the lab.
Yeah, I don't buy the accidental part of that one.
And then this is exactly, Omicron's exactly what most of the virologists predicted in the very beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes. We're going to have several different variants of it, and each
one will be weaker.
Yeah, lesser severity as it, and that's how viruses typically run their course. And it could be the end of the coronavirus, or we could always have the coronavirus like we have influenza and we have the common cold.
I think the first one was calculated, was measured, was built, and released strategically by China. And you look at who it targets, and you look at what it did at the time, what our economy was doing. All those things added up, and how the people were dispersed on those first flights. Like, knowing that government, like, we were putting the screws to those bastards, like, more than we ever have in history. And I think
I wouldn't. A lot of people call that crazy right-wing conspiracy theory, but I don't think there's a 0% chance that that's the case.
Yeah. Well, a year ago, a lot of stuff that we know is fact now was considered crazy right-wing conspiracy theory.
Human-monkey hybrids.
Thank you, Richard. It's not a podcast, so you talk about human-monkey hybrids.
That's where we are.
Well, should we switch it up a little bit and go briefly into our entertainment spotlight? I'm not sure if anybody watched the movie or not. Last Boy Scout, Bruce Willis. Damon Wayans.
No.
One of my
I
all-time
watched
favorites.
it, and I'm glad I did.
Thank you, Richard. Joel, have you ever seen it?
No. I have not.
Cheese and or rice. I highly recommend it. Yeah. Richard, what was your takeaway from it? Besides just
I think
being
it
highly
actually-
entertaining.
I think it's like wine. I think it actually gets better with age.
Absolutely.
And I think it foreshadowed a lot of bullshit that's happening now.
Dude, with the gambling and the NFL and the concussions and all of that stuff, it was light years ahead of its time, man. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And short of the gun, Antonio's
Yeah.
meltdown. Yeah.
Yeah, it was done in what year was this crazy thing? 1991 by Tony Scott. And they're talking about the pressure of gambling and concussions on the NFL and everything else involved. But like that's one of the main subplots. But it's like, holy buckets, dude. Like I wasn't even out of high school yet when this movie came out. So it's aged very well, I think.
And it
Obviously-
is a classic 90s movie. Like
Mhm.
it holds to all the 90s tropes.
Yeah, it's got early Halle Berry in it for one.
What's
So,
the boob situation in it?
I
Not
think
Halle
there's-
Berry boobs.
not Halle Berry boobs. I think there's some boobs at the football party, right?
And boobs at the strip club.
Yeah, and there's Halle Berry ass and a pair of like
Pasties.
Holstein chaps, dude. Like,
All right.
good
Give it
God.
a shot.
91 Halle Berry, dude. That's
Tight.
legend. Yeah. What's that, Richard?
Custom.
Fucking
Custom.
2022 Halle Berry's.
Affirmative.
Amazing.
Yes, I will go on. Yes, affirmative. So figure 1991 Halle Berry when she's working at a strip club and is Damon Wayans' hot girlfriend. Yeah. Whew. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm back now. Yeah. So yeah. So you got football, you got betting, you got chaos, like some dude shoots people at a football game. Yeah, you got Senator Calvin Baynard. Like it's just you got Milo. Yeah, you got the evil henchman who uses everybody's full name. You know, like instead of Joe, he calls him hello, Joseph. Like he's just a dick. You just hate him instantly. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Yeah. So
And Bruce Willis at his most Bruce Willis's.
dude, it's very Bruce Willis-y. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Bruce Willis-y. He's like a piece of shit, like kind of low life detective, you know, like just but he still has random moments of greatness. There's some great like your wife jokes in it. You know, I'm getting beat up by the inventor of Scrabble. Like some of the best one-liners of all time, all put together in a movie. Like it's really, really good. So I can't recommend it enough.
You just
An
start
old song.
previewing the movies instead of discussing them after, and then then we all go watch it.
Good. Yeah, I've been thinking about how to reformat the entertainment spotlight, either to make it just like it's a random topic we talk about, or we talk about it in depth and then we make everybody watch it and then we talk about it again. And there's options. So yeah, I was
Like I
wondering-
thought the last Boy Scout was. I actually thought it was a Denzel Washington movie, and kind of basically like every other Denzel Washington movie that we've all seen. Same movie every time.
I watched Training
Day.
Day yesterday. And
Yes,
that's not like every Denzel movie. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
I like Man on Fire. That's
Man on Fire's great. I watched that a couple weeks ago.
Good one.
Yeah, good, solid movie. Yeah,
That's
I
nice
like
because
Denzel.
it's a true story.
Man on Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Training Day is awesome. I really like Training Day. So, but Boy Scout.
I'll try to watch Boy Scout tonight.
I like Blue
Unfortunately,
Bayou.
like
Ooh, nice.
I
Devil in a
haven't
Blue
even
Dress.
heard of that one.
Devil in a Blue Dress is good too.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one I meant.
Yeah,
His
I
name's
figured.
Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, classic old school Denzel there. No, you should definitely watch Boy Scout, dude. You're gonna like it. It's got football. It's got betting. It's got Bruce Willis. It's got bad guys. It's got best friend who's porking somebody's wife. Yeah, buy a dog.
I just started last night. I started watching the new season of Dexter,
Sarah. Oh yeah,
and they're already on like episode 9.
yeah. I've seen 3 or
But
4
it's good.
episodes. I guess it's not bad. Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. I think it's
Girlfriend's
better
kinda
than the
hot.
original.
yeah. His girlfriend's hot. His sister still shows up in his mind, which is nice because I'm a fan of her. I'll be honest. Yeah.
That woman must have. She has the hardest acting job ever because she is just hysterical and crying
A lot
in
of times,
every scene.
pretty much, yeah.
Every episode in the original Dexter, I was just amazed by it. This woman
She
is.
was really wore out, wasn't she? I still found her hot though. Isn't that weird? I thought she was hot.
Yeah, she looks like an old roommate of mine.
Nice. What was his name? Oh,
I'll send you a picture and you can.
yeah.
judge for
I'll be
yourself.
the judge of that. Yeah. I found her oddly attractive. I don't know why, because there's not much to her, but was her attitude, the fact that she swore a lot, maybe because she drank all the time. Like her body was like, that wasn't the main attraction. I don't know. Anyways,
Wasn't there a part of that where she wanted to bang Dexter?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was
Big time.
before she even knew. Did she even know they weren't blood relatives? I don't
No,
know.
not the point. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in real
That's a
life,
weird
they were
twist.
actually dating in real life too, I believe.
Yeah, they
I'm
were. Yeah.
not completely mistaken. Yeah. But yeah, new one's not. I've seen, I think, the first 4 or 5 episodes of the new one.
And then there's a new World War II documentary in color on Netflix that I've been trying to get through.
Oh,
Every
haven't seen
time I
it.
turn that on, it's already like 1 o'clock in the morning and I
Oh,
just fall asleep.
Yeah, you need something more than that. Richard, I still haven't got your last movie. I apologize.
Oh, don't worry about it.
What was that?
I watched Don't Look Up. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I watched that too.
Oh, fuck. I got really preachy at the end, man. That was just so many parallels, dude. Fuck. That was one of my.
I do think that they did do a pretty good job of making fun of every political persuasion, though.
Early on, they did.
Yeah.
But the
That
last
was
30
fairly
to
well
45
balanced.
minutes were all pretty much focused. But early on, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. But the whole like, don't look up, and everybody's wearing red hats that say don't look up, and they're all rednecky when they say don't look up. And everyone's like, they're taking our rights, and you can't believe that. Just don't look up. And I was like, no, you done failed at that point. But first 30 minutes, pretty good. Yeah, especially since the head tech dude was kind of the major dick / controlling entity. But
That
yeah, the
would be
last probably hour really didn't sit well. But
that would be a Brachiosaurus.
yeah, exactly. That was funny. As soon as they stepped off the ship, and I'm like, oh, there's weird shit around. Oh, this is where she dies. Yeah, so that was kind of funny. But
So I watched it, and then my wife watched it, and I got to the end when my wife was watching it, and she pointed out something interesting. Most of the people that landed on the planet were old.
yeah,
They were
And
all
she's like, well, there were some young ones, but most of them were all old. And she's like, how are they going to start another population with a bunch of old people? And I thought,
like,
yeah,
easily 90% of them were like old white dudes. Like seriously,
yeah.
which is probably done
And-
on purpose. And the fact that the president had a ass antlers was pretty entertaining too, I thought.
But if there was a spaceship off the planet, that Nancy Pelosi would be on it, and why?
When I first heard that they had a starship, I fully pictured like the Earth would be okay, and something would, like, the meteorite would come and destroy the rocket that they were all going to take off in. That's what I thought was going to happen, which I thought would have been extra funny. Like it all kind of breaks up and burns off, but all these people who thought they were better and were going to be surprised and going to go start new, they're in their rocket shit, you're going to take off, and the meteor like this. I'm like, yeah. Now we can start over. We're truly better off. That's what I would hope was happening. I think that would have been a more honest version of that episode, but it is what it is.
And I will say one thing. I think Tyler Perry is one of the most underrated actors in the United States.
Not giving that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I liked what's her
only
name?
thing I don't think I've ever seen him in.
You've never
some
seen
Medea. I've seen some
Medea movie?
or Harold. Yeah,
No,
they're pretty funny. Dude. I'll give you that. First couple of Medeas are pretty funny. Yeah,
Are they?
like part 19, like Medea goes to the DMV or whatever it is. They kind of wane, but the first couple are pretty good. Yeah. But what was the blonde actress that was the co-host for Tyler? Like, if that's not a Laura Ingraham knockoff, I've never seen one.
Right.
Like even her facial expressions were like Laura Ingraham, but she wasn't on the conservative channel. She was on the kind of the different one. But Yeah, I don't know. It was somewhat entertaining, but I thought they took some liberties that they probably could have gone a different way and still made a just as good a show. But I sat through it all, so I probably boosted their Netflix ratings inadvertently. But
I laughed. I laughed a lot at Jonah Hill's character.
Yes,
that was funny.
That was I know he was supposed to be Jared Kushner, but man, I think they thought a lot of times they thought they were making fun of the Republicans, but a lot of those characters were very Democrat, seemed a lot like Democrats to me.
Yeah.
Dude, he was totally supposed to be making fun of Republicans. He was the son. He was like, dude, and like carefree.
No,
like
they were like
and,
Republicans, though.
Obviously, yeah, they always wore red. Yeah. Like I was always about business. But they were like adhering to the tech people, so they kind of like muddle it, but it's like, yeah, it was pretty opaque in that regard. And I was just like, yeah.
See, I was listening to a podcast, and they were absolutely sure that president was supposed to represent if Hillary Clinton was president.
Not even remotely, dude.
I'm just saying that different people have different filters, and that's what they thought.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's the cool thing about life and people. We can like see the same thing in both the two entirely different things. Yeah, I didn't get that at all. Red's usually associated with Republicans, blue Democrat. Like the president was completely clueless, which I thought was interesting. Like the son was involved in the presidency. Our science, it was just like all I viewed it that way. I think it's much jerk off fest as even though they hate her, they still have a jerk off fest for Hillary. I didn't see it, but if it is, then more power to you. But yeah,
dude,
it was
update. I just checked it for the first time. Kansas State's up 21-0.
Yeah, I'm watching it on my TV right here. Yeah,
that's a good bet. All right,
not bad. Anyways, Joel, I highly recommend Last Boyscout. So
okay.
It's most worthy endeavor. But yeah, we're gonna have to modify our entertainment spotlight either to talk about a preview or just randomly like hot topic of the week or something, I think. But because we don't always pick movies that are available everywhere, we don't always pick books, etc. We don't always give people enough time. Like some books are like really long, or some movies are hard to find. So let's talk that through. So gang, if you're out there listening,
here's an entertainment spotlight. I don't know if there's like a segment coming up that better fit under, but it's like something that just bothered me. Like I was laying in bed last night, unable to go to sleep. I was just thinking about this. Like, so the State Department tweeted out Antony Blinken's Spotify playlist multiple times. Apparently 8 times they tweeted it. And then they retweeted people commenting on it, and they retweeted hashtags. It was a big whole deal for leading up like the last couple of weeks of the year. Like, why is the Secretary of Defense sharing his Spotify playlist on Twitter? And he's not an elected official. He serves the pleasure of the president. So who cares about his image?
Why is the State Department tweeting?
They're doing it. I think they're doing it for image reasons. But then you look at the playlist, and it's like shit. Like,
what? I'm sure
it's like Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo. A whole bunch of people I've never even heard.
It's all from some kind of goddamn
Lucius
hipster focus group. Uncle Lucius.
What is the purpose of that?
Is Uncle Lucius on there? That's different.
No.
Okay, no. Like, A, why the fuck is the State Department tweeting? Like, I don't give a fuck. The State Department should not be tweeting. A. B, your playlist could not even give half a shit about at all. C, it's not even a real playlist. I guarantee you, if you set that guy down and played him any of those songs, he'd be like,
there's so many problems with it. Like, one, this guy doesn't listen to this shit. This guy's like 65 years old. He's listening to the Beatles.
Precisely. Yes. At least make it an honest playlist. But
the Rolling Stones.
Nobody cares. Like, who gives a shit?
He's not sitting around listening to Bieber.
I can tell you an honest playlist. Black Keys, John Morrison, Limp Bizkit, and Robert Earl King.
Sure.
Yeah. That is my honest playlist. Oh, and Jimmy Buffett.
Yes. I'm all for that. Like I'll send you any of my playlists. You're like, that guy's on drugs. Maybe so.
Yeah.
But like,
Who's
asking for it? Who cares? Like, yeah, exactly. Like your very first
and
statement.
it kind of
So the State Department's tweeting, and I'm
Spotify.
like, why is the State Department tweeting? Ever?
Yeah.
Step one. I don't care.
I think they could tweet State Department related events and stuff, couldn't they? Like,
if they want to, but even then, like, no, that's not where. Okay, I'm old. I get it, but I'm not going to Twitter for any sort of news at all whatsoever, ever, unless I'm talking about maybe the NFL. And even then, I make sure it comes through on ESPN or somewhere else where I even give a shit about it.
Essentially,
I'm not going there for news.
Why does the State Department and Biden and Blinken and why do they care to gain? Well, obviously, I know the answer why they care, but it's very transparent. Or not transparent, it's obvious what they're doing, but like they're trying to appeal to Gen Z. Like, look at us, we're cool. We're the cool party. We listen to fucking Justin Bieber, Olivia Rodrigo.
Bieber's not still cool, is he? Like,
I actually like.
I don't mind the
Bieber. I'm not making
Biebs.
fun of him.
He looks like a 35-year-old lesbian roofer. Like, really? Like, that guy's gone off the rails, man. Like, but does anybody really consider Bieber like interesting or cutting edge? Or like, I walked by the lab this morning and like there's mostly like probably 22 to 30-year-olds maybe that work in the lab. I heard a song. I'm like, hey, what song you playing? I didn't recognize the song. I did not recognize the person remotely. Never heard the song before in my entire life. I'm like, sounds kind of cool. What are you playing? She's like, I don't know. She pulled it out. I'm like, no idea who that is. Sure as fuck wasn't Bieber. I don't know if anybody at that generation even knows who Bieber is or cares. I was like, is he still cool at that level?
I don't know. But I think there was a wide variety of music. The type of music was so diverse that like nobody really.
And that's fine.
Especially
again,
he's not.
Your main point being is like, what focus group told you that people give a shit about Secretary of State or anybody's
it's like you're advertising
playlist
for Spotify. And you're also like promoting certain artists for some reason. Stay out of it. Shut up. Stay out of it. Do your job. Like it's really bizarre.
Yeah, I just picture me at work, like sending out a mass email to my customers. Hey, in case you're wondering, here's my latest Apple playlist or Spotify playlist. They'd be like,
you're not taxpayer funded though.
Are you?
I must be like, that's fine.
Heat stroke? Like, well, I wouldn't if I worked for the Oregon Department of Ag. That was the farthest thing from my mind in either. Like, hey kids, I'm going to share my playlist with you. They'd be like,
we're
I don't know
paying
what's wrong with this
federal
guy.
government to sit around and tweet out playlists.
I follow this guy that publishes the books he read in the quarter. So 4 times a year he publishes all the books he read. I think it's fascinating. I mean, that kind of stuff I want to know.
It's still, I don't know. I guess I don't care about the insight into who these people are as a person. I'll put it that way. Honestly, I don't. Like, you're the Secretary of State or you're the whatever. Like, I don't care about you as a person. I want to know what your policies are and how you're implementing them. But other than that, I don't care what kind of underwear you wear. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you ride a bicycle to work or you drive a Lamborghini. I don't care. It's irrelevant to how you do your job. I don't want to know who you are. I don't care.
What about the tin cup litmus test?
Is that?
He hates old people and dogs.
Oh yeah, and yeah, kids. Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe so. But even at that point, I'm like, do you do your job well? Are you a good Secretary of State? Yes. Then carry on. I don't care if you listen to whatever. Like, who was that? I think Bush appointed him to UN. Little mustache, glasses, Bolton. I was like, oh, he's such a dick. Like, he was a great UN ambassador because he told him how it was. But I didn't care anything else about him. He just did a good job. That's all I needed to know about him. Didn't care. That's.
Are you saying that Henry Kissinger's probably never released his playlist?
Precisely. Yes. I think if you would have asked it back, like if JFK was alive now, and you're like, "Hey, what's your playlist?" You'd be like, "Screw you. Smoke a cigarette, go bang somebody, and move on." Yeah, he's not. Yeah,
he just listened to what do they call it? The old guys like
Sinatra, Rat Pack.
Sinatra and the Rat Pack.
The Beatles.
Whatever. Anyways,
You got a
Nobody
long
did,
ass
dude.
field goal here.
this is little Ty Zettner. Yeah, 54-yard attempt. Kansas up 21-7. Kansas trying a 51-yarder. It's got the distance, but it's off the mark to the left. No good. Pulled it left into the first half, kids. So we go into the first half.
What a loser.
21-7. Kansas State over LSU. Kansas State 7-5. LSU to receive second half kickoff. We're going to kick it over to Joel for our halftime show, but we're going to be back here live at Kansas State coming up after the half. So take it away, Joel.
I thought we had Amy doing a routine.
Say what?
Your friend Amy McNamee.
What about her?
To do a dance routine at halftime.
Oh, you don't want to see that. No, I don't want to see that.
I'd love.
Amy, I'm just kidding. There's no proper answer on that. Like, yeah, shake it or don't I want to see it. Either way, I'm in trouble. So it's okay. Your main point, Joel, is like that's all they're talking about is like you're tweeting at the playlist with Secretary of State when our country's just spiraling and our southern border is still an open sieve, and you're sending me out the playlist of the Secretary of State. Yeah, or like what was that one that I think the VP did today? America's moving forward better than ever, and there's like massive gridlock and lockdown because people are stranded on freeways because of like blizzards. It's just like we're moving forward better than ever. Like you are.
Say that? I haven't heard anything from her in a long time.
I saw like I obviously don't follow her anywhere, but it was one of those updates I got throughout the day through one of my conservative news networks websites. It's like, yeah, probably could have chose better words. You know, when people are stuck in Virginia. Just outside of DC, people are actually snowed in on the freeway for hours, and she's like, "Yeah, we're moving forward." And like, A, we're not. No, and then B, you look at the freeways just to the south. There's people been stuck in their car for like 9 hours because it's snowed in. So
no, it's like I saw right on the news tonight before we joined. It was like there's one guy said he's been there for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Wonder why? Why don't they just go? Like, what's the fucking hold up here?
Well,
go on the shoulder.
There's probably 9 Amazon trucks jackknifed about 7 miles up the turnpike. So
yeah. Guess that would get in the way, yeah. But at least you get up there, be front of the line.
Yes, I'd put the flashes on and give her hell, yeah.
Yeah. I always wonder about that when people are stuck there for so long like that. Like, there's got to be some people that we're running low on gas, you know?
Dude, that's always my fear. Yeah.
What are they doing? You know? They run out of gas and then they freeze to death.
Or leave the car running, and
that'd be such an embarrassing way to die. Just I ran out of gas and I froze to death on the highway.
That's why I highly recommend a good medical first aid kit in the car with at least a space age blanket or some fire starting stuff or something. Always should be in your rig. If you had a rig, I'd send you a kit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think every 88 Buick sedan on the road back then had a blanket in the
back seat.
Rear,
yeah.
Yeah. Back seat.
You had a quilt and you had the Kleenex holder. Yeah, so it's okay. But this pictured on Pulp Fiction too, and they shot Marvin in the face. Just line it with quilts. Get the big stuff off the floor. But no, one of the things I have in my car, I have a nice first aid kit. It's got a space blanket. I usually carry like extra water, fire starter, just because you never know when you might get stuck. So it's just a bad habit. Actually, not a bad habit. It's just an old habit I picked up from a long time ago. So it happens. You get stranded. Just saying.
I have like 8 eggs in the refrigerator. That's my emergency
Pretty close.
Supply.
Pretty close. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Can of cream of mushroom soup.
There you go. There you go.
Why would you eat that?
I don't know. I've got roughly 700 pounds of meat in the freezer in the garage. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll make it. I'm not going to make it.
You can get here, you'll be all right. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Survive.
Yeah, I'm coming down there this month.
All right, that'll be good.
Down for a visit.
Come on this month. Yeah. Come on this month. Yeah. Between just the canned chicken alone in the pantry, they will be all right for at least 5 weeks. Not even have to get into the freezer. So yeah. We get pretty creative. Just throwing that out there. So
Chicken.
dude, you can do some magic with that canned chicken, man. I tell you what. Yeah. So
Never even heard of that.
canned chicken? Oh, dude, it's
Yeah, I didn't know you could buy it in a can.
yeah, it's cat's pajamas, man. Sam's Club, mega cans. Good stuff. Yeah. You can make chicken salad, you can do smoked chicken, you can do like I won't even get into it, chicken and
It's
rice.
already cooked. You just warm it up.
Yeah, just warm it up, man. Roast kind
Yeah,
of
it's
plates,
like-
man.
Tastes like
It's like
actual
tuna
real
fish.
chicken. It's fine.
Yeah, it's bueno. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
What brand?
probably Kirkland, I guess. It's from Sam's, but yeah, it's like a good size. Either it's like the mega can or like smaller, like yay size cans. Yeah.
Don't get the whole chicken in the can.
No, don't do that. That's borderline
Get
spam.
shredded. You get shredded
It's
chicken,
like
or
it's
is it
kind of like
cubed?
cubed. It's like cubed. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like chicken. It's like buying tuna fish, just chicken.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Never bought tuna fish either.
Cheese and rice, mister. Yeah. So a lot of times take some of that, a little bit of cheese, some bacon, jalapenos, green chilies, blah, blah, blah. Throw it in the smoker for an hour or so. You got a great soup or dip or a good baseline for something. Even stir in some taters and make some burritos. Yeah.
I wonder if Joel's. Have you ever had Hamburger Helper?
Maybe.
Janet, have you
I
made
don't-
Hamburger Helper? I think Janet's probably
no.
made Hamburger Helper. I'm gonna guess.
I don't think she ever did.
That's this week's
I
burning
might
question.
have had it in college, but
Janet, Mama Kern, have you made Hamburger Helper? Inquiring minds want to know.
I think I maybe made it in college.
I mean, I like it better than tuna but myself, but what do you think, Clark? Yeah.
Oh, geez. Were you in LeGrand when I had the roommate that only lived on tuna before I moved in with you guys?
I don't know who that was.
Oh my God, she was crazy as shit. The whole house.
She was crazy as shit.
Yeah, she was crazy. The house, she'd come home and she'd make like 5 meals, pre-prepared meals of tuna.
So she was meal prepping way back then.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, wow.
I faintly remember who that was.
It's when I lived with Colleen Brady.
Yeah, Big Red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Red used to cook
Yeah.
all the tuna? I didn't know that.
No, it wasn't her.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I know who it was then. Yeah. So I didn't think it was Big Red because we used to wrestle and it wasn't her. So
No, me and Colleen and the illegal Canadian, we all got along fine.
yeah, for sure.
It
Oh,
was the
that's I
other
remember that. Yeah.
I think his name was Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking loser.
My favorite part about Mike was every week, sometime during the afternoon, Canada would call and tell him that he was out of the country illegally. And they were so nice about it. They're
Sorry,
like,
eh?
"Hey,
Yeah.
could you tell Mike he needs to come back to Canada and re-up his visa?" Like, yeah, I told him last week. Well, we really appreciate that, but he really needs to come back. Like, okay, see you, Canada. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, eh? Yeah. Sorry to bother you there, eh? But yeah, like he's like shouldn't be there. It's true. They are the friendliest people in the world. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I had a roommate in college that always used to eat tuna fish too, and it really pissed me off because it stink up the entire apartment. And then I was a sophomore in college. This is when I was going to Mount Hood, and we used to party at our apartment a lot. And then in the back patio, there was some box that had been disposed of that never got cleaned up. And he would throw his empty tuna fish cans into that box, and it was also the pee box. So during parties,
You had a
pee in
pee
it.
box?
Oh my gosh.
Why would you just
In
be in
the
a
tuna
box? What's wrong with you? What are you,
Can't even talk
communist?
about it really, but no, he like go
Yeah.
outside and just gag.
The pee box. That's one of
It
those.
was like a mixture of like
That's
Never
just
mind.
awful. Awful.
Is it still making you gag?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, this just in from Mama Curran. Yes, you have eaten Hamburger Helper and you didn't care for it. That is all. Yeah, that's
That
live.
sounds like me.
Thank you,
course I
Mama
like
Curran.
it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I just came through on the hotline. So yeah, there we go.
I didn't like anything. I don't think my mom was the world's greatest cook growing up
Ooh.
either, but I didn't like very much stuff.
It's Hamburger Helper, dude. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So
I think I
Next
did
week we'll be
spaghetti and lasagna.
broadcasting Joel's funeral.
yeah, exactly. Like cheese and rice. That's too funny. Yeah.
You are her favorite shithead, though, so I guess that
Yes.
explains a lot.
You shithead. Yeah.
Well, right, my mom is so occupied right now. There's been snow in Pendleton, and
Oh yeah,
I don't think anybody loves weather more than my mother.
That's
Just
cool.
Start getting
Why is
pictures
that?
and hourly updates of
Oh, the
how much snow's falling.
accumulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, real quick, text me your email. For some reason, I don't have it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's just my full name with
I know.
period between.
Just text it to me because you probably don't want to blast it out to everybody that's. I thought I had it, but I don't for some reason.
I don't think that would matter to
I
you.
doubt it. Like, there's only like 15,000 people that listen to this, so you want your mail. Yeah. Thanks, Mama Curran. Appreciate your input and your listening. So, we're gonna talk about the schedule just a little bit. Does anybody have I know we're still haven't modified the entertainment spotlight, but does anybody have a book or a movie they talk about that we preview now and maybe discuss deeper next time?
You know, I've been kicking around the idea. I don't know. This would be a good one to. There's a lot of controversy around it. I kind of want to watch that or read that Robert Kennedy book. Has anybody read that?
no, I'm way behind on my books. I'm just now starting to catch up.
Oh, wait a minute. I just hot off the Reacher hotline. You have just gone into third place, Joel. That's direct from the source, just so you know.
Oh,
This
yeah,
just
that's
in. Yeah. So I've not got if Casey or Brian's in first, but you are definitely in third. Back to you, Richard. Yeah.
This is a big
can't
day
handle,
for
honestly.
Brian.
Brian
man.
Casey didn't like the meatloaf either, probably.
Hamburger Helper.
Oh,
There's a difference.
Now
Yeah.
you're just throwing him under the bus. Jeez.
Yeah. Like, what did they do to you? Yeah.
Now you're also the
Meatloaf.
second favorite sibling.
You might not have a place to stay when you go back home. Like you're number 3 at Mama Curran's. Obviously, Big Daddy's going to degrade you. So you might be
The
staying with
beauty
Junior.
of-
I don't know what to tell you.
Junior wouldn't let me stay with him. He hates me.
He loves you like a brother.
You just don't ask permission. You just show up and say, "I'm staying here."
Usually.
Can't do,
Yeah.
can't do
Did I-
anything about it.
Didn't I text you? Yeah. So just
That's what I'm
saying.
gonna do to you in Florida next.
That's fine.
So Robert Kennedy's book.
What is it
I don't
called?
know. Somebody come up with a better idea. I don't know if that's a great idea. Because I'm not going to read that book in the next week or two. It's a long-term goal.
I do appreciate the honesty. Yeah, we're on like quarterly goals, like, all right, for our end of year extravaganza, we're going to review Robert Kennedy's book. Yeah, I know it's January, but we'll get there. Yeah.
I think we should go back and listen to the first episode of Far Reaches and review it.
Richard, that's probably one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard out of you. I completely agree.
I think we should just delete them.
I probably inadvertently did already, so don't worry about it. Yeah.
Good.
No, I think we should go back and listen to the very first episode and review it. I like that.
Are you going to try to see if it's gotten better or something?
I think it was about the Rona. I think we talked
It's been
about
the Rona for 2 years.
Well, obviously, yeah, but like it was one of our very first ones when we had the insight and stuff. I think it's a great idea.
I think I made a comment in the very first one about how this is a good thing and we need to cull the population a little bit.
You might have. You definitely
probably isn't the
It might not have aged well. Let's just see how the first episode is
appropriate thing to say.
How's that
Yeah,
sound?
and you haven't, and at that point you had it called John Wayne gay, so that was a good
True.
start.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happened there. So, yeah, I think I'm all for that. I think that's beautiful. We go back, listen to episode 1 of Far Reaches, and just see, because there will be a new intro, shorter, more concise intro for this episode when it goes out over the airwaves. So we just redid that for 2022. Still, if any thoughts on the logo, we'll take those upgrades because we'll have some gear coming out this year as well. So also give us some suggestions if you want lids, if you want mugs, if you want whatever. Yeah, whatever kind of reacher gear you want. Let us know what you're thinking, because we're thinking ball caps probably, maybe coffee mugs. So I sent you an email too, Mr. Joel. So
this is going back to John Wayne being.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like
look at this picture. Look at this picture I just texted you.
Like the whole underlying tone of Far Reaches is John Wayne gay. Yeah, he had 7 Mexican wives, but still, yeah.
They're called beards. That's what they call them.
Look at the moose
Every time I
knuckle
see
on
it,
that bastard.
The what?
He's just
Look
pimping.
at the moose knuckle on that bastard.
He's just pimping. Can
Got
I
a
wear short
purse.
shorts? That's a satchel. Indiana Jones had one. He's wearing like houndstooth shorts, smoking a heater, got a nice palm leaf lid on. I would rock that exact outfit in San Diego this weekend, dude. Absolutely. Probably not the knuckle though. That looks uncomfortable. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So, guys, I'll probably
Look at that. The legs on that. Look at the legs on that model.
They go all the way up and making. Yeah.
Can you
How
hold
do
it
you
up
have-
so people can see
Those
it?
are some gams, man.
Yeah.
So
there it
this is Joel's evidence that John Wayne is gay. And this is the knuckle of moose in question that Richard referred to. Also, yeah, but I'm getting some kind of weird double screen on mine. Yeah. I'll have to maybe
You just
Joel,
Google
Joel,
John Wayne shorts.
Joel,
and
put
it
this
comes
on
up.
the Far Reaches Facebook page.
Okay.
It'll be on there, kids. We can get it checked out. It's a Wall Street Journal article. Yeah, Sans Knuckle. I would wear this weekend at in San Diego for sure. You
Boy,
got
the
houndstooth
sailors would
shorts.
like that.
You got a nice leather satchel. You got a really nice white flannel shirt or like linen shirt. I'm digging the palm leaf, like nice shape on it for the islands. Yeah, boat shoes, and he's checking out the legs. I'm all in. Yeah, look where he's looking at, dude. He's lighting a cigarette and he's checking out the chick. He's like, "My name's Marion Duke. How you doing?" Yeah.
How do you even post something on here?
It's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
I don't
Can
know if
I?
you're ready. I don't know if you're ready for the metaverse, Joel. You should master Facebook first.
I thought you were going to say something else at first. Yeah. Oh, master. Gotcha. Yeah.
There will be a lot of that going on in the metaverse, I bet.
Oh, we got a request from one of the ranch girls in Mongolia that they want Far Reaches lids in Mongolia coming up in August. So I definitely agree. That would be one of the things to consider when we put our gear together this year is ball caps, Far Reaches ball caps. Yeah. I dig it.
Of course.
Yes.
All right.
So so
think I
we're gonna
figured it
go back and review episode 1 of Far Reaches, where this all began. Back in March of, is that 20 or 19? Anyways, it's been a while. Yeah. So
2020.
yeah, very first. Which we'd already talked about doing this for almost a year at that point, hadn't we? Because our initial thought was to do our opening episode at Roundup, right? Is that correct? Like we thought about having our first episode at Roundup, which would have been the September prior to that March when we first started talking about this. So it took me losing my job to find enough time to figure out how to half-ass and put this together. So
And being locked down in Corona.
Yeah, I just got back from South America.
Oh yeah, I remember
Probably
that.
like a week before. We were one of the very last flights to come back in. Like I cleared customs in about 35, 40 minutes, and the folks probably an hour later took over 6 hours to get back in the country. So yeah, by the very hair of the chinny chin chin did we sneak back into the country.
I remember
And,
being
and when
home.
we
Okay.
first landed in Argentina, like half the plane was off of the plane and heading up the jetway, and they like called us all back onto the plane, and we had to fill out this form about where we were going and what our contact information was in case there was any breakouts or whatever. We're all like, what are you talking about? And we're just like making shit up in our form. Like we didn't know the address of where we were going. Like it's just like there's a dude in a van picking us up, like whatever. Yeah, like people are literally getting back on the plane and like we're all hunched up, like riding on each other to get our forms filled out. It was so crazy. And then yeah, meeting people at the airport. Had flown in on Tuesday and been held at the airport until Thursday when our flight left. Like it was crazy. But anyways, Richard, I think it's a brilliant idea. We're gonna go back and listen to episode 1. I've never actually fully listened to an episode, to be honest with you. So
Sounds horrifying.
yeah, like most actors like don't watch themselves. So it'll be interesting just to go back and just see what we were talking about and what we were doing. So that would be fun. So
I've listened to a couple. I find them very informative and entertaining.
I think that is an absolute beautiful endorsement. We thank you for that. Yeah, I did get cussed by several people who were like, dude, I was traveling after like, for Christmas. I was looking forward to listening to the podcast, and the son of a bitch never got uploaded. And I'm like, I forgot to hit record. I apologize. So I guess you could have went to Facebook and found it, but good to know you were listening. I apologize. So we'll try to do
the
better.
last one was just on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot to hit record on Zoom. So yeah, it was just Facebook Live. So you got to figure like all the episodes we recorded. Half the time I've been mostly in the bag when we recorded. I still remember to hit record and stop and get it uploaded. And that one, for some reason, completely spaces at the very end. I'm like, okay, so I didn't hit record. I have nothing on this one, just our Facebook Live. So thank God we at least had that. Not like normal, we just have like nothing. We just talk to each other for like 2 hours. But anyways, with that epiphany, we're going to shift into the Big Daddy portion of our podcast and talk about our happy ending, which is kind of where we kind of summarize our week, best things, what we want to end the podcast on, hopefully on a high note, and go from there. So since Richard started us off with a world-class reach around, we will go to Mr. Joel for our happy ending first and head off from there.
So this is a new thing that Brian recommended, huh?
Well, you kind of, yeah, we should probably have, we could have called it what's it, the money something?
Money shot.
Money shot?
It wasn't the money shot. It was something close to that, though. That's where he was like, it was insinuated. But yeah, I still like the happy ending. So I think that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Sticks with the whole concept of reach arounds and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Blatant innuendo.
This is a concept podcast.
Ooh, I like that. I might change the description. Yeah. So
I don't know. Coming in the new year, excited to see what the market is going to do. Kind of worried about it a little bit. Bitcoin and Ethereum have been struggling last like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Still holding tight, buying more. But over the last month, like I don't know, I've just been really into sports gambling. I've been doing really well. So I'm going to take my winnings and buy another Ethereum.
Man, it's a menace, folks. You heard it here first.
Did I do that right? I don't know if I did that right.
It's up to you, man. You kind of make your own rules. We all make our own rules.
We all need rules.
That's the way of the reacher.
We have very defined rules.
It's the way of the reacher, man. You can have rules, just don't expect me to follow them all the time. Like I'm going to bend the shit out of them or completely just break them. So I'm just saying. So it's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to listen to more music again.
That's
Does that
good.
happen to you guys? Do you guys go in cycles? I
Oh,
won't
for
listen
sure.
to music for
Yep.
a long time, and then I start listening to like, okay, what's some stuff over the last year that I've missed, and then I like
Yeah.
this website a lot called Saving Country Music. It's a blog. But this guy follows like the non-pop country music. That's why I have heard about early on. You hear about guys like Jason Isbell and Tyler Childers and Sturgill and Cody Jinks. You can kind of hear about them before they become Micah the Moon Pies.
Yeah.
But he always finds really good music that definitely doesn't get any radio play, and that you would otherwise never hear about.
What's it called again?
It's called Saving Country Music.
Nice.
Has he done Charlie Crockett yet?
Should have.
Probably because I've heard of him.
My Spotify playlist is looking pretty ripe right now. It's pretty awesome.
Pretty ripe. Nice word, Richard. Nice word.
Yeah.
Dig it.
So like I'm sort of starting to enjoy some of the new country that's coming out. I think they're pretty good. Some pretty talented new guys on the horizon. And, really digging Jim Morris. I think he was probably one of the most underrated talents of the 60s.
Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about new music.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
This is
saying,
the new country.
I like Charlie Crockett. And
Mm.
actually, there's an older guy that's sort of making a resurgent. And what's his name? Todd Snyder.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That guy's the
Yeah.
shit, man.
He was really popular sort of towards the tail end of the 90s. And, you know, he was always sort of around. And now he's like, his new album's pretty awesome.
That is a trip, man.
Chris Knight, I've been enjoying
Chris
some of
Knight's
his stuff.
it's dark.
Yeah.
It's dark, but I like it a lot. I listen to a lot of Chris Knight. Yeah. It's
Anyways,
on
I've
my rotation. Yeah.
I just sort of put my whatever Spotify says, hey, this might be what you like today. And it's been pretty good. I actually, as an app, I think Spotify kicks ass.
Yeah, I don't have it. I should get that.
I do
the free
Apple.
version.
I do Apple because I get that as part of my monthly whole deal. But I do listen to some listen to Rogan on Spotify. I don't listen to music on there anymore. But
Richard, have you heard of Vincent Neil Emerson?
Name one of his songs.
Well, the real popular one that's going around is I think it must be Texas Moon.
No, but I'll throw it in the rotation.
Can we hear this?
That cuts out.
you can
Yeah,
put
look
it on the
him up.
website too.
He's real good.
I dig it.
Which he's featured on Saving Country Music for Song of the Year.
Oh, send that to us, will you? Just send it to the group. Maybe you can put it on the Facebook page if you want to.
Okay. I'm just going to be
That'd be bueno.
spamming the Facebook page.
Dude, we need some more content on there. We've kind of been slacking. So, yeah.
A bunch of fucking homework.
If you do that, I'll put all the books I talked about tonight.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. It's very kind. Yeah.
The best thing I have watched, by the way, is just reminded. The other night I watched, I don't remember what program, what streaming service it's on. It might be on Prime. But Bob Einstein, Super Dave Osborne.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a documentary about him on,
sweet.
on a new one that was incredible. So funny.
What is Super Dave's real name?
Bob Einstein.
Is it Bob? Yeah. God, I used to love that show.
I was
I
so
didn't know
sad
that his brother is Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
His brother. I didn't know
Isn't
that.
that crazy?
I was like, why does Albert Brooks have a different last name? I'm like, oh, because his name would be Albert Einstein.
Well, there's
course
that
he
too.
changed
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But they look nothing alike. They kind of sound alike when you know
They
they're
sound alike.
related.
There's a third brother that kind of sounds like all
Yeah.
three of them. You can start telling. You can tell that,
Some of my earliest memories were laughing at genuine Saskatchewan sealskin bindings. You know, like that's always how Super Dave was strapped into anything, was with this genuine Saskatchewan sealskin bindings, dude. It's just like probably where some of my love of alliteration came from.
He has so many good bits, and they feature him in that. And I've spent time on YouTube trying to find old stuff, but they curate it for you, and it's really good. But just his dry, couldn't crack him, couldn't get him to laugh, and he was such a dick, but really funny while he was doing it.
He was great on Letterman.
Yeah,
I liked his cameos in, was that Ocean's 12?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know
He was Matt Damon's dad.
Yeah.
FBI agent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But just the
yeah.
Super Dave show was like one of my first memories of like just absolute insanity on television. And like, because it was on, I think it was on HBO. So like he would cuss people out. Like he was always getting his ass beat. But it was like, it was such a random show when you think about what it was at the time.
The first thing he ever did on TV, and maybe it's a bit of a spoiler, but he went on this talk show and he played a character that he was the guy that was in charge of putting in the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He just plays a character that's so straight laced, like
he could do that like the straight man, like nobody's business, dude. It was hilarious. Yeah, he was something else.
That's it for me, Micah.
All right. Well, we'll go to the Richard happy ending, if you don't mind. Yeah.
That's easy.
You know, I guess you always get sort of sentimentally optimistic at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, anyways, been making this transition out of the oil field and living in one place, the family and everything. So I had to make some like
all these scary new things in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to make some changes in like business structures and everything, and found that sort of when you find your way, you take on maybe more of you sort of freak out. You take on a lot more stuff that you can actually do, and then at some point you figure out what you're going to do, and everything just sort of starts to work better. I'm sure it'll go chaotic in a while, but for the first time in a long time, I sort of feel like I got a little bit of a foundation under me, and things are really going well. And yeah, so pre 2022, I always seem to have better luck in even numbered years. So
Interesting.
yeah, so looking forward to 2022, and I think takes a while to start another career, and I think sort of got it going again. So
definitely takes a while. Yeah.
Hey, Richard, I have a question. So I've been looking at multi-family unit investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Is that just a great idea? Is that a good idea?
So here's the thing that you have to ask yourself about that. I mean, financially, they make really good sense, but do you have the personality that can manage people that live in the apartments?
No, I would definitely 100% outsource it to a management company. I don't want any part of it. I'm just going to put down the down payment, and that'd be my end of it for me.
I have bad news for you. You can't outsource it that much. You're always going to.
There's not a margin.
If I was going to deal with I mean, you can outsource it, but I mean, their management's going to still call you with people problems because they're going to have to ask you how you want to deal with it. And there's just a lot of.
That'd be fine. I just don't want to like go fix a refrigerator or schedule like a electrician or whatever. I don't want to actually do any work. I can talk on the phone.
You might just get some storage units in.
Yeah, I would say you might want to focus more on commercial rental.
Or Airbnb.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
Okay.
to be in multi, you gotta that's a part of real estate. You really gotta love the people part of it, because not only do you have management companies, but like my father-in-law, that he managed HOAs, and he managed it for people that were part of HOAs, and there's still boards and stuff you gotta be on, and there's just where with like commercial real estate, where you deal with like office tenants,
Businesses,
there's just a lot less going on, and a lot more sort of like, how would you say, there's not
Like
messy
professionalism for part of it, I would think.
and not a bunch of messy human crap. So I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just trying to say, of real estate, it's lucrative, but it's probably one of the most messy and uncomfortable ones. Like right now, if you have multi-tenant stuff in Oregon, you are not going to be able to evict anybody that's not paying rent until September of this year.
Which will probably get extended, right?
Yeah, I mean, eventually. Well, I guess Kate might. You know what happens when Kate decides, though? Well, we'll just never evict anybody again.
September, that's so close to the holidays, you can't be throwing people out.
Yeah, it's almost Roundup, man. Yeah. No, I think commercial real estate, Airbnb seems to be a different thing. It's more on and off, in between. So you don't have like consistent people. I see the advantage in the Airbnb side is you get a place where you might want to go vacation or hang out. And when you're not there, you can Airbnb it or VRBO, whatever you want to do.
You still need
falls into the
a
same
company to like manage that, though, right?
To a degree, you need like somebody to come in and clean it up, but you don't have like that. A lot of times you don't have like somebody for a year straight. You might have like I had a lot of traveling nurses when I had Airbnb, like 2 or 3 month stint, and then they would be gone. And then you can block days off. Like it's a lot more flexible, I think, as far as if you have to get something done, you can handle it. The people that are showing up are worried about their ratings, so they're not going to be a dick. You get paid up front. Like there's all those advantages that you don't have when you have like a like if you have a fourplex or something, and you're like people that are renting. Granted, you don't have like guaranteed stuff every month, but you have a pretty good ROI and a lot less stress, I think, and easy to manage.
Something to keep in mind with Airbnb: when you go over the 2-week thing, then they have more rights like a long-term tenant would have. So when you're doing
still
your
prepay
Airbnb,
though.
Right? No, but I'm saying like after 2 weeks, you start to get into some different type of legal stuff. So I would say cap it at 2 weeks, and if they want to get another 2 weeks, have them buy another 2 weeks. But and the nice thing about Airbnb is $1 million coverage.
Yep.
But I would also recommend that you get your own $1 million coverage, which is about $1,500 a year. And like Mike said, they're grateful to have it, and they are afraid of the rating system works both ways. And so I have no complaints about Airbnb. It's relatively easy, and like if you're in a big city, there are people that just specialize in contract cleaning Airbnbs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd want to do it in Pendleton.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my point about like that's my next 5 years. I want to buy places where I want to go visit, and I'll Airbnb it when I can, and I can go stay there when I want to. So you get the whole write-off about taking care of it and going there to check on it. It might coincide with the roundup. I might rent it out during roundup and stay on Junior's couch. I don't know, because there's a lot more money. So
let's Micah, we should just buy an Airbnb together.
There we go. We'll talk about that when you get down here.
All right.
Yeah, I got some other stuff.
2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Not sharing a bed with you again.
Well, only once. Shame on you. Yeah, if only twice. I think you're asking for it if you want to know the truth. Yeah. Hi, Superhound. Yes.
If you guys are talking Airbnb in Pendleton, I might be interested in joining in that little fracas also.
Well, absolutely.
3-bedroom it is.
Yeah, Reacher's Outpost. Yeah.
Pendleton factors into my long-term goals and plans also.
Ooh, I like that. Sounds kinky. I like that.
The far reaches is Airbnb.
Yeah. And we'll throw Raleigh in just for shits and giggles since he wasn't here to say no. Yeah. So
He'll do all the maintenance.
thanks, Brad. Thanks, Ralls. Yeah. That'll learn him. So okay, I guess any more reach around from you, Richard? I know you've never heard that before. So
no, I'm good. It's life's good, and so happy not to be sick.
yeah. Hashtag little blessings. Yeah. So, my reach around's fairly quick. I guess I had a great Christmas break. Work's kind of coming into its own with people coming on board, and just had a new person start yesterday. So, but my everybody else is helping train them up a little bit, and they've got a PhD in like infectious disease something, so definitely smarter than the average bear already. So picking up our genomics business is pretty quick, but yeah, work's settling out a little bit. We got some cool stuff happening there. Cool stuff going on around the house, just getting some stuff squared away. I had a great time over Christmas. Traveling this week for business, which I haven't got to do in a couple of years, to be honest. So one of my favorite shows is coming up in San Diego, and then some other stuff. So yeah, sort of kind of halfway getting back to normal as far as work wise, as far as personal wise. So that's all been good. And honestly, I missed the podcast a lot over the break, and just missed seeing everybody and doing what we do. So kind of a renewed charge for the coming year. Excited about where we're going to go with this, and just good to be back shooting the breeze. So yeah, that's my abbreviated yet highly effective happy ending. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Joel's face is cracking me up. So yeah, it's too good. So anyway, so I think we'll wrap up our Facebook Live portion right about now, and then we'll also finish off this part of the episode. But special thanks again to our good friends at B&K Auto for all their support and backing and faith and sponsorship. Obviously, that helps us do what we do and help us do what we do further this year. Don't forget promo code Let's Go Brandon when you talk to any of the gang there. And next time for Entertainment Spotlight, we'll be reviewing, going back and listening to the very first episode of Far Reaches. I think that's a tremendous idea.
Don't support this at all.
That's all right. Well, you watch, Joel, you watch Last Boy Scout, we'll call it even. So yeah, get your votes in as far as gear for coming up for Reachers gear. I know we got lids for Mongolia. I'm definitely down with that, but we might do coffee mugs or mouse pads or something else, God knows what. So we'll get that all figured out too. But we're going to sign off for this time. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thanks for the comments online. Thanks for the Reacher mail. Thanks for all the support, and thanks for listening. And until then, don't forget, just keep on reaching. All right. We'll talk to you guys all soon.